Hello, everyone. So, after reading Calvert's article and watching Duet's video, I have finally developed my PLP. Um, so, a lot of the context that I give these examples in are going to be work related. I'm 23 years old, I'm not married, and I don't have kids. And I joined the workforce at 17, so working is really what I know. So far, it's pretty much been my life. And so that's the context that I think in when I think about leadership, although I know that there will be roles and whatnot within my family in the future. So the I really like to do its three rule format. So that's what I used. And my first rule, so to speak, is transparency. And I think that's really important because when somebody in the line of leadership is being dishonest or withholding information, it creates a sense of distrust in the workplace. And that's never a good thing. I think it affects work performance, it affects relationships between coworkers and, you know, seniors and subordinates, and it's all around just a bad situation. And also, I just think that there's no really good reason for it. If you're doing everything that you're supposed to do and you are asking your workers to do the right thing, then there's no reason to lie or hide about anything. You just go into it straightforward with a team mentality like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what I need you to do, this is what I'm going to be doing, and this is when it needs to be done by. And I can't really think of any good reason to not be transparent. Um, I think there is one exception, and it's not lying or dishonest. It's just that when if you are in a more senior leadership position, um, you might have more information than others need to have, and it's not that you're keeping it from them, but maybe just not wanting to overburden them with all of that. You know what I mean, and distract them from the task at hand. So maybe if you don't disclose everything just because you want them to focus on what it is that they need to focus on and what they can contribute, um, then I do think that that's okay. Uh, and I can see myself doing that in some situations. But overall, transparency. So the second thing that is important to me, um, which was kind of influenced by Tommy and Shauna's video because they talked about being on time. And I do think that's very important. I think it's a very basic expectation. I don't think that there are very many good reasons to be late. And I don't think that those reasons should be often. Um, but it made me think about the guy who stays late, and that's the team player. So everyone shows up on time, they do a full day of work, that's great. But what about the one guy who's still working, staying, ready to do whatever it takes to get the job done? And then the other person that sees them and says, hey, they're still here, they're still motivated, I should stay too. So it's a willingness to work late and get things done, and it's a willingness to see your peers and your coworkers out there and not wanting to leave them alone. And it's just that team mentality. So my second rule is be willing to stay late. And then last but not least, very much influenced by Duet, it's be positive. My neighbor once told me um, while he was working in the mines, I live in West Virginia, so there's a lot of coal miners here. He said that when somebody did a good job, he would praise them. And when somebody royally messed up, just punted it into the stands, he would praise them even more. And that made me really stop and think. I thought it was amazing. Obviously, you're not going to praise people for just generally poor work performance or making blatant mistakes. But when someone tries really hard and they just jack it up bad and they're hurt and discouraged, I think that's the perfect opportunity to pick them up and put them back in the game. And I think that when you praise somebody, when maybe they don't necessarily deserve it, they're going to work harder to reach that level of praise that you've given them. I think that they will aspire to earn it. And so positivity in a general sense is good for people and for the work environment and for life in general. But where and when you place that positivity can have a massive impact. And I thought that that was a great example of it. So my last rule is being positive. That pretty much wraps up my PLP. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm excited to see everyone else's videos.